everybody, my name's Sienna and I'm so excited for the new lesson we have this week. First we're gonna have a pre-show, then we're gonna jump to some announcements, then we're gonna have some worship time, and then we're gonna dive into an exciting new lesson.
Welcome to today's pre-show, where we will be playing a classic minute to win it game called Defying Gravity. All you need to do to play this game at home is 3 balloons. Purpose of this game is to see if I can balance these 3 balloons in the air for 60 seconds. With that said, let's give this a shot. I didn't do so good last time, so the timer's gonna start right now. 3, 2, 1. Nope. Lasted a whole 7 seconds. I'm not too good at these games, but send your videos in. We'd love to see you guys give it a shot. See you real soon.
I'm Mrs. Jenny.
I'm Pastor Steven.
And now it's time for some announcements.
First off, great job on Spirit Week this week. We had so much fun with you guys, so we're gonna do it again next month. So get ready for some exciting new themes.
And congrats to Priscilla Ochoa on winning this week's $50 challenge.
That was great. So also, this Wednesday night we'll be starting our new series in Kingdom Quest. So make sure that you buy that book soon, because if you don't buy it soon, you might not get it in time for Wednesday night.
And also, if you haven't been watching our Resurrection Egg series, make sure you pause this video right now and go watch those right now on our Facebook page or our YouTube.
That's all the announcements we have for you today. So get ready for some worship. Now it's time for our lesson. From the very beginning of the New Testament, we see the miraculous birth of Jesus. His birth is announced by angels, and a star above in the sky leads wise men from afar away to find baby Jesus. Even as a child, it is very clear that there is something special about Jesus. When Jesus became an adult, he began to perform amazing miracles where the sick were getting healed and the lame were beginning to walk. It was amazing, and Jesus was giving hope to the hopeless. It is clear that he is the Messiah, the one that God sent that would save his people. People placed their faith in Jesus, knowing that he had come to do something great. But the unthinkable happens. Jesus is betrayed and arrested. His friends turn away from him. He's put on trial, and he is beaten, and he's mocked. The first egg today takes us right into that story, wherein Jesus is crowned with a crown of thorns. Mark 15:16-20 says, "The soldiers took Jesus into the courtyard of the governor's headquarters and called out the entire regiment. They dressed him in a purple robe, and they wove thorn branches into a crown and put it on his head. Then they saluted him and taunted him, saying, 'Hail, King of the Jews!' And they struck him on the head with a reed stick, split on him, and dropped to their knees in mock worship. When they were tired of mocking him, they took off the purple robe and put his own clothes on him again. Then they led him away to be crucified." Jesus isn't just the King of the Jews, he is the King of Kings. He left his throne in heaven to come to earth and save us. The soldiers had no idea how much truth was in their words as they mocked and laughed at Jesus. Jesus said nothing to them. Jesus didn't strike back, and he had come to die for the sins of the world. He had come to die for the sins of the soldiers who made the crown of thorns and the men who hailed him as the King of the Jews. He came to die for the men who would put him to death. Luke 23:26-28, and verses 32 to 43 says, "As they led Jesus away, a man named Simon, who was from Cyrene, happened to be coming in from the countryside. The soldiers seized him and put the cross on him and made him carry it behind Jesus. A large crowd trailed behind, including many grieving-stricken women. But Jesus turned and said to them, 'Daughters of Jerusalem, don't weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children.'" Verses 32 to 43 say, "Two others, both criminals who were led out to be executed with him. When they came to the place called the Skull, they nailed him to the cross, and the criminals were also crucified, one on his right and one on his left. Jesus said, 'Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing.' And the soldiers gambled for his clothes by throwing dice. The crowd watched, and the leaders scoffed. He said, 'He saved others.' They said, 'Let him save himself if he is really God's Messiah, the chosen one.' And the soldiers mocked him too by offering him a drink of sour wine. They called out to him, 'If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself.' A sign was fastened above him with these words, 'This is the King of the Jews.' One of the criminals hanging beside him scoffed, 'So you're the Messiah, are you? Prove it by saving yourself, and us too while you're at it.' But the other criminal protested, 'Don't you fear God, even when you have been sentenced to die? We deserve to die for our crimes, but this man hasn't done anything wrong.' Then he said, 'Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.' And Jesus replied, 'I assure you, today you will be with me in paradise.'" Our second A contains a cross made out of nails. The cross was one of the most painful and cruel methods of the execution ever created. The cross is a humiliating form of execution where a person is stripped, nailed to a cross, and lifted high so everyone could watch the accused die. The people mocked and spat upon Jesus even as he died. He still didn't say a word. Jesus came to die for the people who made fun of him, the people who spit on him, the two thieves who were crucified beside him, and the people who didn't believe in him. The third egg today has a spear inside. It reminds us of the moment when everyone knew that Jesus really died. John 19:30-34 says, "When Jesus had tasted it, he said, 'It is finished.' And he bowed his head and gave up his spirit." It was a day of preparation, and the Jewish leaders didn't want the bodies hanging there the next day, which was the Sabbath. So they asked Pilate to hasten their bodies by ordering that their legs be broken. Then their bodies could be taken down. So the soldiers came and broke the legs of the two men crucified with Jesus. But when they came to Jesus, they saw that he was already dead. So they did not break his legs. One of the soldiers, however, pierced his side with a spear, and immediately blood and water flowed out. Jesus endured a horrible trial and a horrible death, but he never spoke up, he never fought back, and he never offered any resistance. Even though he had all the power in the universe in his hands, he held back. Jesus knew there was only one way to save us from our sins, and he did what he had to do. He died for the people that mocked him, and he died for the people that killed him, and he died for you and me. Jesus did what he had to do to save us from our sins. Why? Because he loves us. John 15:13 says, Jesus says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Jesus died for us because he loved us so much. He was willing to do anything to save us. The story of the crucifixion is one of the saddest moments in the entire Bible. It's the moment when the Messiah died, and it seemed like his story was coming to an end. More than that, it really truly shows us the price of our sins. Jesus was the only man who never sinned, and he did not deserve to die. But if Jesus didn't die for us, he never would have been able to save us from our sins. Jesus sacrificed his life so that we may be saved. His death paid the price for our sins of the whole world, once and for all. And if we believe in Jesus, we will be saved. The gift of salvation cost Jesus his life. Jesus paid that price because of his incredible love for us. And he died for the soldiers that beat him and mocked him, the disciples that abandoned him, and the criminals that were crucified with him. Jesus died for every single one of them and for every single one of us. If we believe in Jesus, he will forgive us our sins and he will give us eternal life. With that said, let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Dear Jesus, we thank you so much for the incredible love that you showed us on the cross. God, I pray that you would help us never forget that sacrifice. And we pray this in your beautiful and mighty name. Amen.
To help us remember today's lesson, we're going to go over the main point. Now, the main point is, Jesus' love knows no bounds or limits. Now, let's learn the motions. Jesus' love knows no bounds or limits. One more time. Jesus' love knows no bounds or limits. Send us your video of you doing the main point. Well, that's all we have for you guys today.
We miss you guys very much and we love you all so much. We'll see you guys real soon.
Bye-bye.